Welcome to The Hypnotist, the show that gives you inside access to cutting-edge hypnosis with real clients facing genuine issues. Brought to you by the hypnotherapist demanded by celebrities, CEOs, and even royalty, Adam Cox. These recordings took place live from Adam's clinic in London's world-famous Harley Street. This podcast features powerful hypnosis, so do not listen while driving or operating machinery. This recording is not suitable for those with epilepsy or severe mental health issues. So, get yourself comfortable and enjoy today's episode of The Hypnotist.
Hi, Adam here, and you're about to listen to a hypnosis session that was created for a client that, after experiencing a fall in childhood, had a real sense of vertigo of anything that seemed unstable or have the possibility of either movement or height. And vertigo can be defined by this dizzy feeling, either linked to real experiences or perceptions. So some people with vertigo, for example, they can be in a built-up city, look up at tall buildings and really feel that dizziness, or it might be going down a staircase or over a bridge or just surrounded by things like a tunnel. And this client had some of those triggers and they really wanted to feel this feeling of stability, but their coping strategy was to become more rigid. And that kind of makes sense, that if you're worried about the movement around you, then you make yourself rigid to almost create a brace position. But what that was doing is that it means that they feel the movement more. And in this hypnosis session, I actually use a metaphor of a gyroscope. And why a gyroscope is quite a powerful metaphor is that even if the surroundings are moving, the inner part of a gyroscope remains stable and static. Sometimes it can spin, but it keeps balance. And that's why it's such a good metaphor for this particular client. And there's other things in there as well, like feeling relaxed and having a lack of tension. Because if you think of, and there's a metaphor in this session about old bamboo versus young bamboo. If you think of really rigid old bamboo in a storm, in the wind, it could break. But very young, flexible bamboo would just move with the wind. So there's various metaphors here that design and encourage the client to really feel relaxed and fluid and kind of in this state of finding stability from the way that they move, rather than being rigid, which actually just increases their ability to notice any kind of movements. So if you have feelings of vertigo, or let's say there's anxiety linked to certain places like bridge or flying, you might get some value from this session, but just be aware that it was created for a specific client. Therefore, some of the suggestions might have been perfect for the client and not quite right for you. So if you like the idea of working with me directly, in the description, you're going to be able to find a suitability test, but also a link to schedule a free consultation call to explore working with me. For now, though, find a quiet, comfortable place where you won't be disturbed, relax, and enjoy the session. Take a deep breath in. And as you breathe in that slow, long, relaxing breath. And as you exhale, just allow your eyelids to close. And as they close, feel that wave of relaxation, starting at the eyelids and rippling and trickling down, releasing tension on the outward breath before breathing in a feeling of calm stability. Breathing in that relaxation and exhaling any feelings of stress, worry or tension, but also any feelings of rigidity. It's almost like you could imagine an old stick of bamboo, rigid and brittle, and if the wind comes, that brittle bamboo could snap. But then imagine seeing the new shoots of bamboo, flexible and moving, that even if the wind is fierce, they move with the wind. I want you to get a sense that with each and every breath, feel tension, rigidity, any feeling of brittle, rigid sensations just melting away. I want you to think of an icicle. A rigid icicle could shatter into 1,000,000 pieces. But imagine the icicle in its liquid form. It just moves to suit whatever environment it's in. And as you breathe in and breathe out, feel any tension, almost like it's crystals of ice melting away, taking that fluid liquid form, enabling you to feel deeper and deeper relaxed. That's it. And I want you to use the power of your imagination to imagine a flat, solid, stable place out in nature. And maybe it's just a field that is flat and level. Or maybe it's something else. But I want you to imagine being in that place in nature on that solid, flat, stable ground. And imagine standing and feeling stable, feeling relaxed, feeling flexible. But then I want you to imagine on that safe, solid, stable ground, seeing an airline seat. But the airline seat is not on a plane. It's on that solid, safe, stable ground. And imagine sitting in that stable seat on that stable ground and reclining it to where you feel most relaxed. As I count down from 10 to 1, you will imagine drifting off into a dreamlike sleep there on that airline chair. The look of the chair will make you feel safe and stable. 10, just releasing any tension around your eyelids and forehead. And 9, just release any tension in your jaw. 8, breathing in deeper, exhaling for longer. Just feel all the muscles in your face start to relax. That's it. And then 7, imagine that the breathing is now happening for you. Your lungs know how to breathe, so allow them to breathe even more relaxed and even more deeper. And the deeper you breathe, the more relaxed your neck and shoulders feel. As 7 becomes 6, and just feel your neck and shoulders feel so relaxed. as you imagine a helium balloon in whatever color comes to mind. And I want you to think of a helium balloon with a string, that even if the string is moved, the helium balloon seems stable. I want you to get a sense that your head feels like that helium balloon, that almost it can move in whichever way it needs to feel stable and relaxed. And the more loose and relaxed your neck and your shoulders, the more it feels like your head is just floating in whichever position is most comfortable. And then 7 goes to 6, and just feel your arms feeling limp, loose and heavy, more and more relaxed. And then 5, just feel your internal organs starting to relax. Your heart, your lungs, your stomach all start to relax. But I want you to focus your attention there in the center of your torso, the solar plexus. And just imagine a shiny gyroscope right there. And I want you to imagine that whatever sensation anxiety is, the gyroscope is rotating in the opposite direction. That when you imagine the gyroscope rotating in that direction, it gives you a feeling of calm, confidence and stability. Give it a color, but also give it warmth. Just imagine a particular drink giving that warm feeling there in that location, and give the gyroscope that warmth. So that there in the gut you feel more and more relaxed, more and more comfortable. And then 4, take that feeling of relaxation, take it down into the legs. That's it. Deeper down, 3 and then 2. Even more relaxed now. And then 1, just imagine the feeling of relaxation goes all the way to your toes. And then from your toes, all the way up to the top of your head and down to the tips of your fingers. Every breath taking you deeper and deeper relaxed. And feel that imaginary sensation of that airline chair on that solid, stable ground. Imagine the sensation of the chair, the feeling of stability, that it supports you completely. A feeling that you don't need to hold yourself up. You can just let yourself go. Allowing your arms to rest, your legs to relax, and your breathing to become even slower and more rhythmic. And as you go deeper into comfort, I'd like you to focus on that center, the place just beneath the ribs, in the center of your torso, there in the solar plexus. And really think about that gyroscope. I want you to see it as a perfectly balanced precision instrument, spinning effortlessly in the direction of calm confidence. And you could imagine it as stable and steady. And no matter how the world moves around it, this gyroscope, this mechanical metaphor, it's part of you. I want you to feel that only now you realize that rigidity doesn't make you stable. It's intuition and flexibility that does. So imagine that gyroscope has been there all along, only now you're working with it rather than against it. A deep, stabilizing force that centers you, balances you, and grounds you. And with every breath, you become more aware of this inner gyroscope. And every time you think of that location, you can feel that the gyroscope spinning is spreading calm outwards. A feeling of a quiet steadiness, silent and comforting and stable. And even if the world moves, even if the ground shifts, and if you're on a sky or a bridge or walking down steps, that gyroscope spins smoothly and silently. I want you to feel a wonderful sense of balance and calm from the inside out. And then I want you to think of something in your future, maybe a flight, or maybe being a passenger crossing a bridge, or maybe walking down a steep flight of stairs. But instead of being in your body, I want you to imagine seeing yourself like you're someone else. I want you to see a future version of you, looking calm, relaxed, and stable in the very situations that used to cause anxiety. In fact, you could imagine seeing yourself walking down steep stairs at an airport to arrive at a checkout lounge, a departure lounge, and then see yourself perhaps going through a tunnel, boarding the plane, and see yourself taking a seat. And that seat represents stability and safety. So see yourself there looking calm and confident and stable. Not because the environment changed, but because you did. And imagine you have X-ray eyes and you can see that gyroscope within. And the way you see yourself walking, moving, see yourself looking more relaxed, with a steady gaze, breathing calmly. But I also want you to notice something, that future version of you, whenever there's unpredictable movements, is focusing their attention on the furthest point away. They're not looking at anything close. They're looking for the furthest point. I want you to get a sense that that version of you has new resources, new strategies. That shift in focus gives that future version of you a deep sense of orientation and stability, where you can feel rooted even in motion, and allow your intuition to activate the gyroscope whenever you need it most. If things are jumpy or volatile, that's when you need that gyroscope. And that future version of you will be flexible, not rigid in those moments. Relaxed, not tense in those moments. And I want you to see yourself looking for the most relaxed person around you, and mimicking their facial expressions, their breathing, their muscle tension, knowing that when you adopt the same physiology of that calm, relaxed, confident person, your body becomes more calm, confident, and relaxed. And from this point on, anytime you feel a flicker of instability, just imagine that silent, steady gyroscope right there in your solar plexus. And the more you focus on it, the more relaxed you become, and the more balanced you feel, and the more natural it is to remain grounded, even when the world moves. Because from this point onwards, you are like that fresh bamboo. You're not resisting the movement. You're riding it, flowing with it, because your body knows how to adapt, and your mind knows how to remain calm. And your inner gyroscope is always with you, effortlessly keeping you steady wherever you go. And maybe it makes sense to buy a gyroscope as your talisman. That the physical gyroscope enables you to visualize your inner gyroscope. And no matter how volatile any environment is, you seeing the stability of the inner part of the gyroscope will remind you that that is also happening within you. And you can bring this feeling with you of calm, control, and balance. I want you to imagine seeing a flight landing. See yourself leaving the flight and seeing someone you love, and see yourself enjoying time with that person, and know that sometimes going outside of the comfort zone opens new doors, leads to more resilience, expands your comfort zone. And then you find yourself back on that airline chair, out there in nature on the solid ground, and just feel how you would feel that you got to the end of your destination. And even though there may have been turbulence or sudden movements, you were able to feel that calm stability, that you are the gyroscope. And as you hold that thought, it's time to return all the way back to the here and the now, with a new way of thinking of movement and balance and stability. So take a deep breath in through your nose and out through your nose. Just wiggle your fingers and wiggle your toes. Connect and calibrate into the here and the now, as I now count from 1 to 10 to awaken you. Starting to count. 1, 2, 3, waking up. 4, 5, 6, more alert. 7, 8, open your eyes, open your eyes. 9, 10, wide awake, wide awake, wide awake.
Thank you for listening to The Hypnotist with Adam Cox, the show that gives you inside access to cutting-edge hypnosis with real clients facing genuine issues. To automatically receive the latest episodes, please subscribe. If you'd like to support the show, please share this episode with just one friend you think it could help. And if this episode helped you, please leave us a 5-star review.